From the Victory Studios in downtown Little Rock, this is Capitol View with your hosts, Roby Brock and David Goins.
And good Sunday morning to you, and welcome into Capitol View. I'm Roby Brock alongside David Goins. Thanks for joining us. Coming up during this half hour, leading candidates for statewide office reveal how much money they've raised during the second quarter. Plus, we examine why the Martha Schaffner case is leading some to say Arkansas public servants are paid too little, and a discussion on social media in Arkansas politics with leading consultants and experts. I'm joined by my co-host David Goins, who welcome to everybody to our political long table this morning. We have Jordan Johnson with CJRW, public affairs firm here in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's also a former Democratic state representative candidate. Katherine Vasilos, Noble Strategies, former communications director for the Republican Party of Arkansas. Good morning to all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Katherine, Jordan, thanks for being on this morning. I guess the first question is, these numbers came out, they were due at the end of June, come out in mid-July, Monday, 6 days ago, seems like a while ago, but what's kind of your instant takeaway from these numbers? I mean, does this kind of separate, theoretically, contenders from pretenders?
I don't think so. And I think you look at the numbers and a lot of surprises. Ross had a great showing, a record-setting quarter for fundraising. But, this is the first time out. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I don't think you can look at just one quarter alone and determine whether somebody's going to win, fail, lose, etc. I think it's just going to take a couple quarters to establish a pattern so you can see kind of who's on and who's off.
You don't have that many quarters until the primary.
No.
It can't be too long of a marathon, right?
I get two.
Absolutely. It's very early in all the races. Bottom line is there's going to be plenty of money in all the races that matter. Right now, I think our candidates are really focused on who's on the right side of the issues. Candidates who didn't have as good of a fundraising quarter as others, they're going to have plenty of time to catch up. It's early. We have primaries to work through. And so I think we're going to see some significant advancements in campaigns as we move towards the fall.
Let's pull up a graphic here and take a look at what some of these fundraising numbers were so our viewers at home can kind of get a read on it there. You see the big blue, and on the far right there is Mike Ross's $1.97 million. There you have Asa Hutchinson at $378,000, and you can work your way back. I guess a question that I have to both of you, and Jordan, I'll come to you first on this, is does Mike Ross's big number, does that scare Bill Halter out of this race?
I think it could. That is a huge hill to climb for Bill Halter at this point. And again, he doesn't have a lot of time left to get that. Ross, if you look at his contributors, he's had a lot of people contribute to his campaign.
He's clearly the establishment candidate on the Democratic side.
A lot of people inside the state. You look at Halter's, there are a lot of people outside the state giving. And so, I think people inside the state are going to be more engaged, more involved, and actually pull the lever, obviously. So I think from a Democratic perspective, I think it's a huge hill to climb for him. And I think Mike Ross made a statement. He had to come out big. People didn't know how big, and he blew the doors off of it from a Democratic primary. And I think, absent some missteps, I think it's his to lose. So.
Katherine, Halter could write a personal check, couldn't he?
Absolutely, and he has loaned his campaign a significant amount of money, as well as the fact that, we saw what he did in 2010 with the Blanche Lincoln race, and he definitely was not afraid to take that challenge up. And so, obviously, if he does stay in the race, we're going to see Mike Ross be forced to burn through some of his campaign cash. We're also going to see maybe a split in the Democratic base. But, Bill Halter is always the one that surprises everyone. So definitely think that he's going to stick with this race or another, but not bow out entirely.
What's more surprising, the amount that Asa put up for the quarter, just under $400,000, or Ross's, big number?
I think Ross's big number, because Asa has been a statewide candidate for 3 times, for 3 times now. So Ross has only been in the 4th district. And so I think Ross had a higher expectation, if you will, to climb. And he did that. And not only he met it, he exceeded it. And so he showed people that he has the ability to contend on a statewide level, despite not having been a part of a statewide ticket. I think that's a good push for him coming out.
You know, at the end of the day, there's going to be plenty of money to go around in all the races. 3 years ago, Asa Hutchinson raised over $3 million in his race. Currently, he has no serious primary opponents. He also is leading in the polls. You know, a February Talk Business poll showed him leading Mike Ross by 6 points. A recent internal GOP poll showed similar results. That is going to be a significant factor. I think, you know, in the fall, we're going to see a more aggressive campaign from Asa Hutchinson. We're going to see some policy development, increased fundraising, and also, you know, as Mike Ross travels around the state, I think he's going to have a really difficult time shaking his federal ties to the Obama White House. His support of Obamacare and other things are going to, you know, drag him down as he travels across the state and looks to garner more grassroots support. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who's on the right side of the issues, and that's Asa Hutchinson.
If we're still looking at the money, though, does Hutchinson's number maybe give, you know, what's considered more long shot outlier candidates, Curtis Coleman, Deborah Hobbs, any pause for relief, or they?
Absolutely not. Asa Hutchinson has no serious primary opponents at this point. There's still plenty of time to raise money. It's out there. He's demonstrated the ability to do it before, and he'll do it again.
Let's talk about the quarter for Mark Pryor and also for Tom Cotton, too. Cotton is obviously the rumored candidate to be challenging Mark Pryor in 2014. Pryor raised $1.2 million. Cotton raised $611,000, has over $1 million in the bank. Katherine, I'll come to you first on this. Is this matchup between Cotton and Pryor, is it inevitable?
We'll just have to wait and see in terms of, you know, obviously people are encouraging Tom to run for a reason. That's because he's in Congress and he's taking a serious look at issues like immigration, entitlement programs, and health care. And so Mark Pryor obviously has the fundraising advantage at this point, but there's still plenty of time. And, you know, if Tom Cotton still has not yet to announce, and you know, Mark Pryor has a long way to go in terms of explaining to people why he voted 95% of the time with the Obama White House. And so there's really no amount of money that can disguise that fact, as we saw with Blanche Lincoln in 2010. And so, you know, whatever Tom Cotton decides to do, there's going to be plenty of money, because this is going to be the most competitive race in the nation.
You get the last word, Jordan.
Well, I think it's all about expectations, and I think Pryor exceeded expectations on fundraising. I don't think people expected him to do that, so he exceeded that. He starts out well, and I think with this being a midterm year, you don't have Obama on the ticket in Arkansas, and I think that's going to be to his benefit.
All right, Katherine Vasilos, Jordan Johnson, thank you both for being here.
Thank you all.
Coming up after a quick break, former State Treasurer Martha Schaffner, accused of taking those kickbacks on the job we've talked so much about. Well, do those alleged crimes highlight a bigger issue facing public servants here in Arkansas? I'm David Goins alongside Roby Brock, and you're watching Capitol View on Sunday morning on KARK.